All right, welcome. Me and Sandy are doing social media marketing made easy for the month of May. And today being the 3rd of May is our kickoff day. So we're talking, what is social media marketing? What content should you be considering? Why should you even be doing it? And kind of all the questions that you have. So like I said before this recording, that way we build a strong foundation as to the house we're going to build on, which is your social media. So helping you figure out what your branding is, how to get your message out there. All the questions that you have pertaining social media marketing is going to get answered tonight before we dive into in-depth questions and content. So super informal. You know how me and Sandy do. PowerPoints are like, yeah, they're great, but it's just once you get us talking, I feel like the information we say is sometimes more useful than a PowerPoint.
But I usually am the one that does PowerPoint because it's like a crutch for me. So it's like, okay, if I forget where I am, because you know me, okay, I go down lots of rabbit trails and I get pulled into all kind of discussions, and I need that PowerPoint there to say, okay, that's where we were. But Amy doesn't do that. So we're doing it, Amy. We're doing it the millennial way.
If it's the millennial way, but we'll go with that. We'll go with that. But so first off, I want to get a feel for everybody because I'm going to tell you what it is. But does everybody understand the whole concept behind social media marketing? Why it's important, how you should do it, not how you should do it, but what it is and that you need to be doing it. Yes, everybody just nod your head. Yes. Okay. I love that. Okay.
So let's let some of them tell us then what is social media marketing and how do you rely on that, or why is it so important? So Raul, I want to hear from you because we're going to be working with you on your book, and I want to hear from you what you think, what you see as social media marketing.
Well, first of all, social media to me is your megaphone for your product.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I use that foul language word product. It used to be the work days gone by, but it is what it is. And the publisher is not going to do it for you mostly, unless it's a big blockbuster and they can make boodles of money on you. Then they'll go ahead and do that for you. But you're on your own to toot your own horn, and that's something I've had to get used to because I was raised not to pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
And in this market, in this book industry, you've got to toot your own horn and loud if you want to succeed in as many places as possible. So that's what I've been doing for a good while now.
I think you have to be careful about that. We do recognize that we do a lot more, as you call it, tooting your own horn. We do a lot more of that now than we did in our day.
Well, but there's a strategic way of doing it, right? So when you think of social media marketing, you think, like Raul was saying, you pat yourself on the back, you like sell, let's do this, buy my book, buy my product, buy all my stuff, right? Okay, so let's get that out of your head because that's not true. Okay, you as a consumer, like, I know you guys, I'm just gonna hit it. I'm gonna be really honest with you, and my goal is not to offend you, but there's so much other like noise and stuff out there and false information that I'm just going to keep it real with you guys because I feel like that's what you guys need. You need someone that's going to be honest with you. So just get that whole thing as like, oh, I need to sell out of your mind, because as a consumer, if all you're seeing is sales posts from someone, you're not going to buy a darn thing that they put up there because you're like, you just want my money. You're just, some people will be like, oh, you really got your hustle on, but they still don't buy from you, right? You can get your hustle on and put posts out there about your book, your course, your product, whatever it is that you're selling. You can do that as long as you're putting other content out there, right? So like, okay, so everybody here generally knows I have 2 kids under 2. So my life is a hot mess. Okay, I'm a hot mess mom. It's just a hot mess, and everybody knows that. I've done lives of my child just losing it, okay? And I also, do the book box that I have put together, and Through the Eyes of Authors, and everything that this membership has, every member in there, I share all their stuff, right? So that's my page. That's how I contribute, I give back, and very little of it is selling. So people expect what to see from me as me sharing your guys' amazing stuff on my page. I rarely talk about sales or anything that's going on in the group. It's mostly the community and the networking, right? So when I post the sales thing up there, a lot of it gets visibility and stuff because they're like, oh, you don't usually post this. Let me check it out. You don't want to be sold to. You want people to buy from you or interact with you because they feel a connection with you, because you yourself as a consumer, you are more likely to purchase anything from anybody if you feel a connection, a relationship, relatable situation to, right? That's the whole point of social media marketing. Okay, the social part, you're socializing with them online, and that's super important because you don't want to take the social out and just make it salesy. I'm just marketing, right? You're like beating them with a stick. Don't do that. Be social, engage, let them into your life a little bit, right? Not full extent, like where they know all your world problems. Okay, don't do that. But let them in, let them feel like they get to kind of know you as a person, and then be like, hey, I also am a fantastic author, and I, have written these books. And if you want to check them out, they've made great Mother's Day gifts or birthday gifts, right? And then go back to, I love, like Lydia says, she loves pets, right? So she can always do that and show posts like that. I can show posts of my kids or whatever I have going on. So it's a balance, but it needs to be more of the sharing than selling. So the patting yourself on the back, yes, that's what social media marketing is, but you have to be strategic about it. So
by patting myself on the back, I didn't mean to do that now. I said I was brought up not to do that.
No, I know. Yeah, no, you're just saying it. A lot of people feel that way. And so they feel like 100% of their content and their posts on all of their platforms is just selling. So that it wasn't directed towards you, it was directed as a whole for everybody. Because I hear that all the time, several times a day. It's like, oh, well, I have this post about, selling my book and it's not getting anything. So I posted another one with different wording. It still doesn't get anything. And it's like, yeah, it's a sales post. One, people don't know who you are. And two, no one wants to be sold to. They want to buy from friends and family, and they feel like they have a friend in you, right? So that's the difference behind it. So that's what set me off on my tangent, Raul. It wasn't anything towards you at all. I hear it all the time. So that's kind of why it's important. That's why understanding the foundation of social media marketing is important, because if you don't understand it, then you're going to do what all these other people tell you, which is sales posts and sales posts and sales posts. But you need to get
most of us do social media marketing the same way we do everything else in our life. We just do it without any planning, without any knowing where we're going, without any goals. We just start off. The first thing we do is start off by, and trust me, this is exactly how I did it. First thing I did was go friend as many people on Facebook as I could, because I heard somebody say they had over 1,000 friends. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get more friends. And so I find people, do a search for authors, do a search for, fit in my family, do a search for my high school. I mean, I just went on a journey of getting as many friends on Facebook as I could. I never thought about, is that good, bad? Do I want the right friends? There was no thought whatsoever. So now I'm at 5,000, and that's good. And I'm very glad, and I'm very appreciative of everybody that is a friend. But I have to be more selective now, because I only have room for like 13 people right now.
Yeah.
And so I have to look at people that are authors or whatever. And then I have to go back to my friends and delete some of them or unfriend them. And I hate that with a passion. So that's the thing. Raul, is just, that's what we want to do this month. Is kind of help you like take a step back, look at the basics, and get your social media in order. Because whether you go with a traditional publisher, or you go with an independent publisher, or you go with self-publishing, marketing is going to be the most important thing you do. And social media marketing is going to be, over half of what you do for your marketing. So that's my input from the matriarch back to the millennial. So
well, no, so that kind of leads me into, have you ever been on anybody's page? I mean, don't count celebrities, okay, because those are legit. But if you go to any business page and let's just say that they have 7,500 likes, and then you go and you look at some of their posts, they only have 2 or 3 posts, or 2 or 3 likes, and maybe like 1 comment on the majority of their posts, right? So that tells you a huge sign, right? It tells you that they probably paid for the likes on their page. And so they don't really know anybody that really, I mean, not that they don't know, they probably know a few amount of people like that. Because if you're going to have 7,500 likes or followers, right? Likes on Facebook, followers on Twitter, connections on LinkedIn, followers on Instagram. So if you're going to have that many, then your engagement should be at least a third of that, right? Math is not my strong suit. So I'm going to say you should have a third. Let's just say that that's like 1,200. So 1,200 likes or comments or shares, right? You should have something that adds up to a third of what your like is. That's kind of the average of what you should have. So if you're only getting 2 or 3 on a page that you're looking at, then they most likely paid for their following, which you don't want to be. Because then when you go to do a sales post or something like that, you haven't really built the foundation, right, for them to buy from you because they don't really know you. So that's kind of where it comes back to, it matters. Like what Sandy was saying with friends, she felt the pressure to get over 1,000 friends because all these other people were talking about how they had that. So social media can create pressures. So that's why you have to understand how your foundation needs to be, what needs to be on there, and keep it social, because it is social media. It's supposed to be engaging and being fun. It doesn't have to be like work all the time and spend 8 hours a day on social media. Okay, don't be like me. I do that for a living. I love it. So you shouldn't do that in your business. You should, ideally, it should only take you 5 to 10 minutes a day on social media. That's not, I'm not counting scheduling your post out, right? Where we will get to that because that's fun, because there's third-party schedulers, there's in-house schedulers, there's how much time, how much content do I need to post? Don't get overwhelmed with that, okay? We're going to stick to the foundation, which is why you need to be on social media. Okay, so in my neighborhood, if I wanted to sell like publicity for an author, I'd have to go door to door or put something in the mailbox. With social media, you get access to millions of people. You can run ads and do all that. So you get access to millions of people, right? Just like Sandy and I, when we do our lives and stuff, I get access to Sandy's network. She gets access to mine. We get access to Spurs, right? That right there is thousands of people between all 3 of us. It's a lot of people, right? And people that don't know you, don't know your business. So that's why you have to kind of understand that that's where you're starting. That's why you need to be on social media. But the number 1 mistake that every single person makes on social media is the sales post. And you can ask Sandy, I go off on this all the time. You don't need to sell your book. Your book will sell itself because you as an author, you have built the relationships with people that will know and invest in you by buying your book, right? With your posts. You don't have to post every single day, 500 times a day, right? That's not the purpose of social media marketing. It's to get out there and get seen in front of new people that don't know that you exist by building the relationship with them, right? How do you think Sandy got to 5,000 friends? By building their relationship with people. It wasn't about like, hey, I'm a publicist, come, buy my publicity package and I'll help you, blah, blah. No, it's because she started networking when we could go to in-group meetings, okay, when we could meet in person. She started going and just making relationships with people, becoming their friends. And then they would add each other on Facebook. And then they started referring people because they knew Sandy as a person. That's what they do. That's the whole like foundation of it. That's like the core for social media marketing, is people getting to know you and letting them in. And then they'll buy from you because they have a relationship with you. How many of you guys buy something from someone that you're either related to or is a friend to support them? Every single body should rate. Yeah, everybody needs to raise their hand, right? I support my nieces and nephews, anyone, my mom supports me, everybody does, right? That's kind of the relationship that you want to have with your readers, your followers, anyone, subscribers, whatever it is that you do. That's the relationship that you want to have, because those are the loyal people that will continuously keep coming back, right? So if you like, let's just say that you run an ad and you get a good conversion from it. I don't know, 25% conversion. But then next book comes out and it doesn't convert like that. That's because they weren't loyal. They just bought it because you ran an ad and they saw it and they were in a good mood that day. You need loyal people that are going to follow you. That's why you're back to the firm foundation of this house that we're going to build this entire month. Okay, we're going to build a house in a month. It's going to be awesome. But that's the whole point of having that foundation be really firm, is because that foundation is your loyal following. Your loyal following is going to build this house for your social media marketing. That's going to get more of your books, courses, products, whatever it is that you sell into other people's hands. Because that's the purpose of it. It's a social platform that you're marketing on, but you're marketing yourself as a person, not so much your course or your product or your book. It's you as a person, and you're sharing the passion that you have behind what you do, whatever you run, whatever it is, you're sharing that with the world in a social way. Does that make sense? Nod your head if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. James, kind of. well, we'll build the whole house and it'll make a lot more
My
sense.
head kind of bobbles when I shake it, so.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna nick. Okay, all right. So that's kind of the main like foundation of it, I guess, that a lot of people don't talk about. They're just like, oh yeah, go up there and run this ad and spend $2,000 in your ad, and you're gonna make $5,000. Okay, if you're having to spend $2,000 on a Facebook ad, please don't do it, because it's a pay-to-play market and it's oversaturated. So if you're not willing to invest that much money and lose it, you're most likely not going to see it back, because I guarantee you, if someone says they're going to run an ad for you, that's going to cost you thousands of dollars plus your budget. So that's just my advice. That's on my tangent of ads. We haven't even gotten to that section yet. But I mean, so, okay. So who has questions so far?
Well, I don't have a question. It's basically a statement. What I've been doing since I got into setting up my social media contacts, I've been really just telling people about the Swiftboat story, not trying to sell the book or anything. Obviously, I provide links to my website and so on, but trying to convey the interest, trying to drum up the interest primarily in the military community about swift boats, because very little has been written or exposed to Joe Public nationwide about swift boats. How many people on this platform right now, besides knowing the fact that I've been, talking about it all this time, how many of y'all knew about swift boats and what they did in Vietnam?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I still understand exactly what they are, Raul, and I know I've talked to you for a long time.
And so I've been trying little by little, and especially my plan, Amy, is to, and Sandy, when I do get the nod from a publisher that we're moving forward on this project, that's when I want to initiate and begin my newsletter.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that setup. CJ, she was marvelous. You see what's around me right now? CJ did that. And so she also helped me develop my newsletter. And I've called it the Sandbag, which is basically a bunker, if you will. So it's related. So I want to be able to maybe make a news release via my newsletter, via my first issue, indicating that publication is ahead, and then talk to them about what the Swiftboat story is going to be about. And then gradually work into it, and maybe once a week post my newsletter with different stories of different things that took place, and maybe talk with an individual Swiftboat veteran on different topics. So I'm building up the interest as I go along.
Yeah. Well, so why are you only doing that in your newsletter? Why aren't you doing that on social media?
No, when the newsletter comes out, it's going to go to social media.
But why don't you just post stuff like that on social media without sending your newsletter there? Like, why don't you post it or do a live video with someone that you're going to interview on social media?
Yes, that's also a thought that I have. You are correct. But the newsletter, it helps to just be able to, I can post that newsletter in my social media platforms.
Yeah.
Which is basically saying the same story. But I like the idea of presenting a newsletter.
Yeah,
It's-
no,
it's
I'm
just-
not, yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I think you should do that. I think you should also have content that's just for social media. There's all about, you can create content that's versatile, that can go on every platform and go in your newsletter, but you should have some content that you need to give people a reason to follow you on social media and a reason to subscribe to your newsletter. So in
So
your
you're thinking that
newsletter,
perhaps, you're thinking that perhaps maybe one newsletter, or maybe not a newsletter, but a blurb to social media should be about who I am, et cetera, or a little bit about my past, or
I
things
think
like
you
that,
should
making it personal.
do, I think you should do the newsletter and do your newsletter a month, or, once a month, or however you're gonna do it. But I think on social media, that needs to be, you can also put on there, hey, publication for my book has started moving. And hey, I'm gonna be doing this interview with so-and-so, check us out on my channel, right? And so redirecting people to that, because if I follow your newsletter and I go to your social media, I don't want to see the same stuff. I don't want to see your newsletter in my email and on your social media when I go over there. I want to see that you have other content, right? Because
Okay.
that's going to keep me engaged. Because if you only are doing vice versa, and it's the same stuff on your Facebook page that's in your newsletter, honestly, I mean, I'm just being honest, I'm going to unsubscribe, because I'm not getting anything different. So you're not giving me an incentive to follow you on social media and follow your newsletter. I'm going to pick one. Right?
Maybe like, for example, in between a newsletter or so, maybe just announce that I've got a new video on my YouTube channel, because I've got a YouTube channel set up.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I would put into your content, but I mean, it's something that I would also put on social media. Yes, CJ.
Okay.
You can do like Swift Boat facts, or you can do like Swift Boat people's stories. I put in the thing Swift Boat facts Saturday or something, or Swift Boat facts Friday, whatever it is, but just kind of to educate them as well.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then
those
some
are,
little stories here and there.
yeah, I mean, those are things, Raul, and we'll get deeper into it as the month goes on. But those are things that you're gonna have to train your audience to see, right? Speaking on content. So I'll touch on that to help you understand it. So when you're thinking of content and what to post, and you hear all this word about like the copy and content and visually appealing and Instagram-esque photos and all this stuff. So copy is just the text that's above an image. Okay, let me break that down for you. And then your picturesque photo. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. So hopefully you guys don't hate me after the end of this hour and you come back next week. So hopefully those people don't really want to see, unless they're on Instagram. People want to see real authentic photos, like me as a hot mess mom, right, with my hair up on top of my head. I have posted photos like that, and it gets more engagement than my headshot photo, okay, because it's real. I'm a real person. It's not photoshopped. This is what it is. This is what it looks like to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a stay-at-home mom, all in the same bubble, right? So it's relatable. People feel like they can relate to you. So your picturesque, Instagram worthy photos, let's put those on Instagram, okay? But the main focus on any of your posts needs to be your hashtags, because your hashtags are keywords and they are searchable. That's what
Is
people
that for everything, or just
That's
Instagram?
for everything on your content, because that's how people are going to find your posts if they are not following you. So say that me and Red are not friends on Facebook, right? And I want to find something on longevity, on health. I want to find an author that's written that, right? So I'm going to type in the search bar on Facebook, longevity, hashtag health, hashtag author, right? I want Red to pull up when I search those, and his posts come up as an author with his book cover, just him talking about health and all the live videos and stuff that he's done. I want them to pull up so I can find him, right? That's what every author in them want, because they're your keywords, they're your search engines for your websites. They need to kind of correlate with it. So that's why they're important. There are certain hashtags that are consistent that you need to use on a daily basis that correlate with the day. Okay, so that's well, okay, so hopefully that doesn't get too intense for you. Yes.
Question, what pops up? What does Red pop up? His website?
No, so any of his social media posts on Facebook is where I'm gonna look.
The
That's where
posts
Red's
are,
gonna pop up.
his posts are what pop up based on that topic or that hashtag.
Yeah.
But she's
Let me-
searching
let
in
me share my
Facebook,
screen.
so yeah.
Let me share my screen. I don't know if Red's gonna pop up. Red was just my example because he was next to me on my screen. Well, let's just see. So if I hashtag health, right? And we'll just do healthy lifestyle, just cause, right? So 1.9 million people use this hashtag and they're gonna pop up here so I can follow them. Some of them are my friends, some of them are posting in groups that I'm in that I'm not friends with, but they're using this hashtag. So if I was looking for, you know, this food magic, obviously she does recipes and it's healthy lifestyle and stuff, then I'm gonna follow her. This is where you want your posts to show up, and they're not gonna show up here if you don't use hashtags. See, like if
Gotcha.
I could see more,
Is a
Always
great
use hashtag.
reminder. That's a great reminder, and I always remember on Instagram, but I do not remember on Facebook. And so thank you for that. So that's good.
so that, I mean, that's gonna be the same on any platform. So like if I go, and we'll get deeper into this when we talk about keywords and why they're important, and I kind of sit with each one of you collectively and come up with, you know, keywords for you guys. But they show up on there. So like on Twitter, right? Which is this screen. Okay, so on Twitter, right, it tells you what's happening, the trending. It'll tell you who to follow. Usually it tells me hashtags, but I haven't been on Twitter a whole lot recently. But this topics to follow, if you're an author and like sci-fi and fantasy pop up, you want to follow those because then that's how you're going to build relationships with other people. Right? I mean, clearly right now, hashtag post for the press is trending. Melinda Gates and them getting divorced is trending. So none of my hashtags are showing up.
Can you hashtag Swift Boats and see what happens?
I just did that on Facebook, Raul, and that I'm glad you said it because I just did on Facebook, and you need to go do that on Facebook because I found a bunch of places that it came up quite a few times, and there's also some groups that if you're not a member of, you should maybe check into.
No, what happens if you hashtag Skunk Alpha?
I didn't get there yet.
You know, can I use hashtag Skunk Alpha?
Oh, yeah, you want to use it.
Yeah. So here's the thing with hashtags, since we're going down this hole.
I
I created, but since we're going down, since I know, I created this thing. That's why this is super informal. It's just a conversation. So I'm going to go back to my Facebook screen and I'm going to show you because this is very important. So like here, when I was typing in healthy lifestyle, see how they all used it consistently? There's not a capital H on one and a lowercase h on the other. Because if you do that, you create separate threads. And you don't want to do that because one thread is going to be way more popular than the other. And you want to be in the popular thread that people are actually looking for. And the majority of them are going to be all lowercase. They're not going to be any capital. So you're like, grammar kind of has to go out the window when it comes to hashtags. But like motivation is super important because you can really use that for anything that you're doing because it's motivation within yourself, right? So like motivation Monday, Friday motivation. There's different hashtags that correlate with the day of the week that you can capitalize on in your marketing effort, right? So all of this, I know it just sounds frivolous and like I'm going down a rabbit hole, but all of this correlates with your marketing. So like her post right here, I had to hit see more because it was in just so long. If it's not captivating within this first 2 sentences, most of the people are not going to hit see more. So your first 2 sentences have to be damn good out of the gate. They need to relate to me in order for me to keep reading if it's going to be this long. Most posts are going to be like this. Short, sweet, to the point. I'm not going to waste your time kind of thing because you want to entice them. So think of, you know, the attention span of a toddler. Okay, I'm coming in hands with this, you know, firsthand. Because of my toddler, their attention span is like 3 seconds. Yes, James.
All right, that was going to be my question. How long of a post should you put? I mean,
It
what's
should
good to
not
be
be-
too long?
No, it really shouldn't. And it needs to be the attention span of a toddler. So if I'm reading it, you have to captivate me in the first second, like sentence or two to keep me reading if it's going to be longer than that. But if you can sum it up in like 3 or 4 sentences, you're golden. Okay. Anything longer than that, it needs to be damn good. Okay. That's coming from like experience. If it's too long and it's like boring me in the first 2 sentences, I keep scrolling, right? We talked about this on the mastermind. You do the mind numbing scroll, you just go through your stuff. You don't really click. It needs to be captivating enough where you get people to stop clicking or stop scrolling where they click on it backwards. But you know what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah,
like get them
yeah.
out of the gate within 3 or 4 sentences, you have them locked in their attention and your keywords or what they're looking for, and you have a relatable photo or 30-second, GIF or whatever, right? That's golden. That's what you want. Because then it's like, oh, they're on there, and then they're more likely to hit that like button or the share button or whatever, because you've captured their attention, you've related to them, you've hit not a nerve, because a nerve can be like a bad, you've hit them where you need to hit them to keep them as a follower. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, because I don't even look at stuff that's like more than 5 or 6 sentences long. It's like, if there's a chunk of reading there, yeah, I don't even look at it. I don't even read it.
Yeah, no, like the one that I was showing you where it was like a huge thing and you have to like, that is more like a sales copy if you're running an ad, right? Because you have you can do short copy and long copy. So the long copy is the one that I showed you. Let me share my screen again. That's the long copy. And the short copy is a little bit shorter. Okay, so this whole thing right here is considered long copy, just wording. It's long-winded, right? Short copy is going to be about here up. Not super long. Now the format that she has is perfect. That's how you want to do. You want to break up where you want your reader to focus. You don't want it to be one huge long paragraph because it's not going to get attention. You see what I'm saying? Like for her hat, like this love M should be down at the bottom and her hashtags underneath it just to keep it looking clean. But like this right here, there's no separation or anything. That for me is hard for my eyes to read. So if you create separation, it's easier for your eyes to follow where your copy is. You're more likely to keep your readers. Like if you see this and then we go down to this copy, this is way more appealing than just having it all lumped together.
All right, so you're talking about short, broken paragraphs.
Yep.
2 or 3 sentences each time.
Yeah, when you break it down, it's really simple, right? It's what's eye appealing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it, right? I mean, you're being social and engaging and doing all these things, but you're keeping it eye engaging for people to stay on. That's the tricky part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different than copy for a newspaper, because the newspaper was like 1 or 2 sentences, 3 sentences at the beginning, and then a paragraph or 2 afterwards. So you had larger chunks as it got deeper into the subject.
Yeah, you want it to be more like
a
conversation, like a dialogue. You really want it to be more like a dialogue, like you're having a conversation with the person reading it. That's what you want it to be.
Okay, so a couple of sentences broke, couple of sentences break, couple of sentences.
Yeah, because you're telling a story with your words, but you're telling it in form of dialogue where you guys are engaging together, right? Because I've read some of this copy where, the first 2 sentences, they kind of ask a question and you answer in your mind, yes, but they know that you're going to answer that. And so then the dialogue continues, the conversation continues. And that's kind of what you want to keep in mind when you're writing your copy. Is, you as a consumer, what would you want to see in order to click on it, right? So, I mean, that goes back to the whole foundation is you are your own foundation of your social media marketing because you have the passion behind what you started, created, wrote, whatever it is, right? So you are your own consumer. So what would you like to see to buy what you're offering, right? That's the hardest part. If you can nail that, in social media marketing, if you can nail that mindset, everything else becomes so much easier because you're just thinking not outside of yourself, because that sounds weird, but you kind of are. You're thinking about what would I want to see to buy this, right? So you're keeping your consumers in your mind at all times when you're creating copy or graphics or whatever. that you're doing in marketing. Yes.
I've got a question. It's an
Mhm.
important one for me. So in preparing for my hashtag adventure here, when I post whatever it is, either the newsletter or just content, and I want it to reach people in my, um, I don't know, in my world of Vietnam swift boats, Vietnam War, et cetera, and I hashtag Vietnam veterans, I hashtag swift boat veterans, I hashtag anything else along that line.
Mhm.
How does it reach those people that are connected to that hashtag, or how are those people out there in the world connected to that hashtag?
So you're gonna have people like me, right, that use hashtags to search. But another way for you is that different groups and organizations that use that hashtag, they're gonna have, Sandy, what is it like the Google words on where it's like whenever there's this hashtag is mentioned or whatever, it's Google alerts. That's what it is. And so it sends them an alert that it's been mentioned, and so they can kind of see where it's been mentioned, and that's how you can build relationships too. That's more complicated, but you have people like me and Sandy that have all these Google alerts for like every word in the dictionary. And so those kind of things, that's where we go and find people like you that are using that hashtag to connect with or to ask to join our group. So what's going to benefit you in getting the awareness out is joining all these Vietnam veteran, groups and stuff, and posting your story in your book in there, because that in of itself is a great community and brotherhood and network, and they will back you 100% on your book. So I mean, that
Yeah.
kind of feeds into knowing it.
But I'm not hashtagging that group though. I'm just hashtagging
That
a
doesn't
general
matter.
topic.
That word will be, the group, the people that follow it, the people that post about it, the people that use that hashtag, they are the group. That's a group.
They're
she's
linked.
talking-
That's
They're
the
linked.
link.
That's
Okay,
a great way
so-
to say it. They're linked.
Yeah, so let me help you here. Okay, so let me find a
And
group.
while she's looking for that, Raul, I just looked up hashtag Vietnam in Facebook. This is not on Google or anything like that. And there's 288,000 people using the hashtag Vietnam.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you'll need to break it down more than that. You're not going to reach 288,000 people. So you could do Vietnam War, Vietnam whatever, and do other words. And as a matter of fact, it will give you, when you put hashtag Vietnam, there's Vietnam War, Vietnam news, Vietnamese food, Vietnam, Vietnamese. So
Mhm.
there's lots of words.
Yeah,
that you
so
can follow.
Raul, let me help you here. So in the groups, like we're talking about Vietnam groups, but this applies to any groups that you guys are in, right? Me and Sandy are in a ton of groups. So within this group, the Amazon Kindle promotion, right? It tells you the popular hashtags that are used in this group. Do you see that right here?
Yes.
That's important, because if you go and you post in the Vietnam ones and they tell you that Vietnam vet or whatever are the trending hashtags for that group, that also means that they're showing up when I go and I Google it, because
Okay.
Now,
Their
where
group
are
show
you
up.
on that group?
I'm just on their main page. It's going
Okay,
to show above, like if I were to create a post in their photos, it's going to show right above that.
okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of one of the new things that Facebook has, but this is going to help you, Raul, answer your question. Is even if you use that hashtag and people search it, this group will show up because it's a trending hashtag within it, but people that have posted will. So it's going to kind of work together. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so
Thank
that's
you.
one of the cool things. You are so welcome. That's what today is, to make sure you understand before we really go in depth. Because
And Raul, I just put went to groups and searched for Vietnam, and there's
There's
all
a ton
kind of
of
groups
them.
for Vietnam vets, Vietnam writers, sons and daughters of Vietnam vets. So
Yeah.
lots of groups that you should be, those are part of your marketing plan.
There's a big world out there that where my book could fit in well with that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It is
For
absolutely.
everybody's book, everybody. The secret is just finding those topics and those groups that identify with you.
Good
Yeah.
question, Amy.
Yes.
If you have a business account on Facebook and a personal account, and you post the same blog article or whatever, do you put the exact same hashtags, or do you concentrate more on the business page?
No, so what I would do, it depends, one, if you want to keep them separate or if they're intertwined. But if they're intertwined, it doesn't matter. I would post on your business page and share that post from your business page to your personal page. Because then it's kind of like you're sharing your whole business and not just the same post. If it's a personal post, a blog post, and you just kind of want to throw it up, whatever, then I would do that. And you can use some of the same hashtags, but you need to be consistent in order for it to kind of gain traction. Does that make sense? A long answer. Okay, so here's, if you get nothing else out of today, okay, I want to show you guys insights on your page. So this is my page. I'm active, but I'm not super active on it because I have a lot of other stuff going on. But you want to go to your page. Let me show you how to do it. All right, everybody can see my screen, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yes, okay. So I'm gonna
Go a
go
little slow, go a little slow, please.
Oh, I am. Okay, so I just went
So
to
we can
my
follow
business.
you.
I just went to my business page, right?
Okay,
So then right here on the left-hand side, under notifications, it's gonna say insights.
insights.
And so this is going to tell you everything about your page. And so you need to do a social media audit for yourself on your social media pages, however many you have. If you don't have any, then you need to, I'll send you a list of what you need to create a page. Because these insights literally tell you everything that you need to know. And then I can tell you and break it down and do all this, but if you get nothing else from this entire month-long training, you need to understand how to read your insights, because they literally tell you everything. If your post is wrong and it sucks and you need to fix it, don't take it down. You've learned what not to post, so you know what to post, right? Fix it, but don't take it down. Don't take down content. Repurpose it in a different way, right? So it's going to tell you your likes, how many likes I have, what else going on, my response time. You guys know I'm super slow. I'm better by email, right? How many engagements I have, things like that, my page views, right? But the main focus that I want you guys to see, we'll go to post, is this right here. So on the live, talking about this course, we talked about the perfect time of day to throw your post up, right? You want to do it 15 minutes before. So my peak time is 6 a.m. I don't know why, because I am not awake, but it is. I have the most people on at 6:40 or 6 in the morning. So I'm going to post and have it scheduled to go out at 5:45. So when my people get on at 6, it's still in their news feed. They haven't passed it and already started scrolling at 6, and you have your post go out. You want your post to go out 15 minutes before. 10 to 15 minutes, that's kind of flexible by 5 minutes, right? But this right here, this post section of your insights is the most important. On any business page, author page, whatever page you have, this is the most important page because it literally tells you everything. This graph is fantastic. But it'll tell you my most engaged posts, which all of them are videos. I don't know why, but all of them are videos that I do. So that kind of tells you when to post and what content people like.
Amy, can you please go back? How did you get to these pages? I'm on Facebook and I'm not finding my page insights.
So go to Bayou City Press for you, Julie. And then once you're on that page, let me know.
Yep.
Okay. On the left-hand side under notifications, it's going to say insights.
Okay. So it's only on that business page.
Right, it's not your personal page.
Huh?
Yeah. It's not on your personal page.
Personal page.
It's only on your business pages.
Ah,
And then you're going to scroll down. You don't have to scroll. It's going to be post, which is under actions on your page. That's where you're going to click, and it's going to show you all of this that we're looking at for my page. And then your reach, I play around with these all the time, you guys. I literally go in here and just mess around, but I'm a huge nerd like that. But these graphs, if you like graphs, these kind of explain it, but it kind of breaks down your total reach, the time, what day, things like that. So this is how you're going to do your social media audit, which I encourage everybody to do. And you can really do it from this overview page because it's going to tell you everything kind of summed up without graphs, how many likes you have in that week, and you can change your data all the time. Like mine's within the last 7 days. We could do the last 28 days.
So could we look at mine for a minute so I could ask you a question? Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it says, basically, I'm flat. You know, the days are more or less the same and how many people look at it. And the time from 6 a.m. to whatever this is more or less flat. So does that mean it doesn't really matter what time I put it in that period?
No,
Or
so
should
you
I
want-
start
you
at the
wanna-
beginning?
No, you want to go at your peaks. So like your morning peak is 6 a.m. That's your morning peak, right? And
Yeah.
then your afternoon peak is going to be right here at 4. You see that? And then your evening peak will be at, what is that, 6. So you could literally, the best time for you to post. So what was your 6 a.m.? So you have 44, go over one, that's 5 a.m. What was that, 41, 42, and then you had 44, and then what was your 4? So see how your numbers, you have 44, and then you're gonna peak down at 4, you start inclining back up at 3, and at 4, you have 45, and you have, it seems like you're gonna have 45 again at 6. Yeah, so I would post, you're gonna get the most traction for you is in the evening. So anywhere either at 3:45 or 5:45 is where I would do a post for you, because then it starts declining at 7 and it's gonna dip back down again and then slowly incline till 6 a.m.
See, this is what I don't understand, because what you're saying is it's only going to come on once. So you want it to be at the biggest time, as opposed to me thinking you put it at the beginning of this peak and it's available for all of that time from.
Well, but
6
that's what you're doing, right? So by doing it 15 minutes before, you're guaranteed that if I start scrolling at 6 p.m., your post is going to be in that chunk of me scrolling without having to refresh my screen. So that's where you're going to get the most bang for your content, is by posting it before, because if I'm on my desktop, my computer, or my Surface, or my phone, you're guaranteed to be in my news feed at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
Amy,
Yes.
at the top of this thing, it said the days and times are shown in Pacific time.
Uh-huh.
Is there any way to change that to show it on our own time zone?
No, because Facebook is based in Pacific time.
Pacific time, yeah. So we have to convert everything over to Eastern or Central time.
Yeah, it sucks. You really become good at time zones for sure. So like, her 6 p.m. right here is, what is that going to be for us, Julie? 8, because you're 2 hours behind us.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Yeah. So that your audience are night owls. So I would post at nighttime.
Okay.
Amy, I've got a question
Yes.
on the, hold on a second. You mentioned something right now that, this insights is only available on the business Facebook page?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
It's not available on your personal profile page. It's
No, my
available
next
on the
question is,
page.
in addition to my basic profile page, I've got a book page. Is that considered a business page?
Uh-huh. As long as it's a page and not a personal profile, then you should be able to get insights on it.
Well, I developed that book page off of my Facebook page. Does that make sense?
all of my business pages are created from my personal page,
Okay,
but they have their own page, public figure page, business, e-commerce, whatever you set the page up as long as it's a page, then you should get your insights.
okay, so I'll go do some homework and check it out then.
Yeah, because that's going to be the best way. Now, if you've never posted on there at all, you're brand new, never done anything like that, you are not going to have anything up there at all. And that's okay, because now becomes the trial and error. But instead of doing all your errors and just flinging a bunch of stuff out there and hoping it sticks, like spaghetti against the wall, we're gonna help you make it stick, right? So that's kind of the whole premise behind social media marketing. It can, as you guys can see on the insights, it can get very overwhelming and confusing. So that's why just understanding the whole premise of social media marketing, what the point of it is going to help a lot. You see what I'm saying? So that is super important. So when you guys are saying it's from 7 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m., you have to understand you want to go where your top of your peaks are, not dips. You want to do, if it's 7 a.m. Pacific time, that's what, 9 a.m. for us. So that would be the one, if you're going to do 2 posts a day, 2 content creations a day, then you're going to want 1 in the morning and 1 at night. So if it's a steady line, it's consistent, and you can pick any time in between there. But if there's dips and valleys, then you want to do the highest one in the morning and the highest one in the evening. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I want to make sure that you guys understand that, because there are some people, it's just like consistent. It's like, yeah, you had all these many people on there, which is great. I'm envious. I love you guys for that. But make sure that you're picking the tops of your peaks for that. That's what I was doing with Julie. I just wasn't showing you guys, but mentally that's what I was doing. So your insights page is what's going to help you understand if you've already put content up there, if it's working, if it's not working, but it's also going to tell you, I didn't get into it today, but it'll tell you, you know, primarily the audience on your page, if it's men or women, the content that they like on that page. So you kind of know how to tailor your content for your audience, which is your market on your page. So we'll get more into that, but today was really just to make sure you guys understood social media marketing and evidently your insights and keywords, but just to make sure that that foundation is strong before we start building, because I'm going to dive in pretty deep on some of these topics like I did with the insights. There's a lot more numbers we're going to start running and doing things like that. And when it comes to content, I'm going to have you guys kind of throw some, you know, posts up that you guys have done with some copy, and we're going to work on making it stronger for you guys to help you guys implement it. Because if I just sit here and give you a PowerPoint and show you guys how to do it, you're not really going to learn how to do it because you're just going to follow instructions. But if I walk you through it and you implement it, you guys are going to learn it and it's going to stick with you. I've learned that over the years. That's how I learn. I feel like that's kind of beneficial for everybody. So this is going to be super interactive, super hands-on. You're going to learn how to do everything I'm telling you to do. I'm going to walk you through how to do that, not in a PowerPoint. Like I shared my screen today, I'm going to have some of you guys share your screen. We're going to walk through this together. Okay? So does anyone have any final
Amy,
questions?
Yes, Amy, you mentioned that we've been addressing the insights on Facebook, but do other platforms have insights or something similar?
Yes.
Okay.
They're all going to be called something different. I think on Twitter, it's analytics, I believe, on Twitter. LinkedIn is going to be, I think it's the same on there. The terminologies may be different on each platform, but they're going to tell you the same thing, which is you need to understand that for each platform, because each one's different, right? So like Instagram for me is going to be a different audience and market than for you guys. So you need to understand that market. So in the mastermind, we went through it. Julie learned it and James learned it. We went through it, sharing our phones and trying to get this thing working on insights for everybody. And we can always dive deeper into some of these topics, you know, in the mastermind on Friday, if you guys want. You guys know me, I'm an open book. So yes, is there any other questions about the foundation of social media marketing, how to use it? Yes, Red.
No, mine was a question on the pre-sale, not on
So
social.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
I would start, I know Sandy had always said, I believe it was like 6 months, like mentioning your book and doing all this, and you hit it really heavy the month that you're doing pre-orders, like you hit it super hard, but it's not overwhelming for people because you've been like training them to expect that post from you, that it's coming and the date. So, I mean, it ideally should be that. If you don't have that time, then I would hit it really hard for a month.
Well, for one thing, the first thing you do is check to see how long Amazon will let you have it as a pre-sale, because that changes on a regular basis. There was a time it could only be 28 days or 1 month or something like that. And then it went to 3 months. And I don't know where it is right now, but I would definitely go into the Amazon help thing, into your Kindle account and look to see, you know, and ask that question, and they're very good about answering it, you know that. So
Okay,
see where we
thank you.
are right now.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So any last questions? Because we are close to 8. So I like honoring time, but I'm not afraid to go over time if we need to. Is this good? Is anybody overwhelmed with like their insights and doing an audit and anything? I know CJ's not, she does this every day. So everybody's good? Yes. Okay,
For
good.
starters, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
That's good. Hey, that's good.
you guys did great. I'm so excited. So anyway, so next week we'll be going a little bit further, and actually I've got kind of like the general thing. We're going to talk about how to implement a strategy, and then we're going to get into branding a little bit next week. So CJ, I hope you'll be there because I know you're great about the branding stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, you guys.